In your previous class, you must have learnt about force, work, and energy. For any object to move, it needs a push or a pull. Objects, they do not move on their own. For example, let us take up a table or a chair. If you go and stand near a table and chair and say, move to your left, move to your right, do you think it will move? No. So objects, they do not move on their own. If you have to move the object, then you have to either push it or pull it. So that push or pull on an object, we call it as force. This you have already learnt it in your previous class. So we can move objects or change their shape by applying force. So for any object to move, it needs a push or a pull, which is called the force. Now we do many types of work every day. So when somebody asks you, what are you doing? You will say, I'm watching TV. That means according to you, you are doing some work. That is, you are watching TV. Or some may say, I'm sleeping, I'm reading. So all this, we think we are doing some work. But according to science, work has a different meaning. So in science, we say work is done only when we apply force on an object and that object moves from one place to another. So if somebody asks me, what are you doing? And if I say, I am pushing the wall, that means I'm doing some work. That is, I'm pushing the wall. But is the wall moving? No. That means work is not done according to science. Otherwise, another example, what are you doing? Somebody asks, I'm waiting in the bus stand for the bus. Here I am doing some work, that is I am waiting. I am standing and waiting. But according to science, no work is done there. Because you are just standing in a place and waiting and no force is applied and you are not moving. So according to science, work is said to be done only when force is applied on an object and the object moves from one place to another. If the object does not move even on applying force, then we say work is not done. So this also I think you must have learnt in your previous class. Now, so many types of work we do every day. Walking, running, playing, climbing. For all this work, we need something. What is that? Can you tell me? Yes, we need energy to do all the work. For any type of work, for playing, walking, for climbing, for lifting, for pushing, for pulling, for everything, for all kind of activities which we do daily, we need energy to do different types of work. So today we will learn about energy in the lesson Amazing Energy. We do different types of work every day, and to do this work we learned that we need energy. For any kind of work, energy is needed. So we are engaged in one or the other activity to fulfill our needs. These activities are called work. So we do different activities in a day to fulfill our wants, and all these activities we call it as work. And we have learned that according to science, work is done only when force is applied on an object and the object moves from one place to another. And for any work, energy is needed. We use energy to do work. We will be able to work only when we have energy. So without energy, we cannot do any work. Whether it is a small work or a big work where we have to walk for some time, or people have to work in the fields like farmers and all, they are also doing some work. They are working more harder than us. So for any kind of work, we need energy. So we can say energy is the capacity to do work. Now, where do we get energy to do our work? We are doing so much of work every day, different types of work we do, and for all that we need energy. Where are we getting this energy from? We get the energy required to do work from food. So every day we eat food. So that food gives us energy to do our work. We get the energy for doing several works from different sources in the environment. So we do different types of work, and for these work we get energy from different sources in the environment. For example, we use physical energy. So if we want to walk, we want to cycle and go somewhere, for all this we need physical energy. Our muscles help us. Our muscles give us energy, and that energy we get it from our food. Then motor vehicles run by fuel energy. So your motor vehicles like your car, scooter, bus, all this, it moves with the help of fuel, that is diesel, petrol. So motor vehicles run by fuel energy. Main source of all energy on the earth is the sun. So sun is the main source of all the energy on the earth. Without sun, there is no life on the earth. So the main source of all energy on the earth is the sun. Every work is related with the energy required to do it. So we already know this. Without energy, no work can be done. So every work is related with the energy required to do it. If work is a needful activity, then energy is essential to complete the work. So if we have to do some work, we have to have energy. Only when we have energy, we can complete our work successfully. Different types of work depend upon its related energy. So we do so many kinds of work. So some people work in the fields like the farmers, and there are construction laborers who build buildings and all. So these people, they need more energy because they do hard work. So different types of work depends upon its related energy. So the amount of energy needed to do the work depends upon the type of work. There is a natural energy in the environment. So our environment has a lot of natural energy. It's like sun, air, water, coal, etc. are the sources of energy used for certain daily activities in the environment. So as I already told you, the main source of all energy on the earth is sun. Then we also have air, we have water, we have coal. All this are the sources of energy which are used for daily activities in the environment. They are all the natural sources of energy. We know that we need energy to do work. Less energy is required to do simple work, whereas more energy is required to do hard work or tough work. But for any work, we need energy. Activities happen not only by human beings, but also several activities take place naturally in the environment. Energy is essential for all these activities to take place. Different types of work depend upon the related energy. And we learned that there is a natural energy in the environment like sun, air, water, coal. They are all the sources of energy used for certain daily activities in the environment. Now, let us learn about the different forms of energy. There are different forms of energy. They are muscular energy, mechanical energy, heat energy, solar energy, wind energy, water energy, electrical energy, bioenergy, chemical energy, and fuel energy. So all these are different forms of energy available. Now we will study about the different forms of energy in detail. First one, we'll take up muscular energy. Now look at the picture. Activities like walking, climbing, pulling, pushing, all this need muscular energy. So for doing all these activities like walking, climbing, pulling, pushing and all, we need the energy from our muscle power. Where do we get this energy from? Where do our muscles get the energy from? We get it from the food we eat. So this energy is released by chemical changes in our body. So whatever food we eat, due to the chemical changes, the energy is released and our muscles get this energy and that helps us to work. Muscular energy can be increased by proper food and regular exercises. So by eating healthy, nutritious food and by doing regular exercises, we can get more energy. We can increase our muscular energy by eating good food, healthy food, and also by doing exercises regularly. So next we will learn about mechanical energy. Mechanical energy is also a form of energy. Energy of an object by virtue of its position is called potential energy and the energy due to its motion is called kinetic energy. So the energy of an object by virtue of its position. So any object, it has some energy in it. The energy possessed by the object due to its state of rest or in its position, wherever it is, any object has some energy and that energy is called potential energy. And the energy due to its motion is called kinetic energy. So the energy due to the motion means here movement. So when an object moves, then it has kinetic energy. So when an object is at rest, it has potential energy. Any object has some energy in it and that energy which the object has by virtue of its position, it is called potential energy. And when the same object moves, that potential energy changes into kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is the energy when an object is in movement or motion. Now you can see in the first picture, you can see a ball on the top of the hill. So the ball which is kept at the top of the hill, it has some energy in it. And that energy we call it as potential energy. That is the energy by virtue of its position. It is there on the hill and the ball has some energy in it which is called the potential energy. When the same ball is made to come down the hill, you can see in the next picture, the ball is coming down the hill. That means the ball has started moving. So when the ball has started moving, that potential energy which the ball had when it was on the top, when it was not moving, that potential energy is changed into kinetic energy when the ball starts coming down the hill. So going from potential energy to kinetic energy. So the object is at rest and the same object, when it moves, it changes. So when the object is at rest, it has some energy called potential energy, and when it starts moving, that potential energy changes to kinetic energy. Sum of potential energy and kinetic energy is called mechanical energy. So now what is this mechanical energy? It is the total of both potential energy and kinetic energy of an object. So any object when it is at rest, it has some energy which is called potential energy. When the same object starts moving, then that potential energy gets changed to kinetic energy. So both the potential energy and the kinetic energy of that object together, we call it as mechanical energy. Now let us take up the example of the water in a dam. Dams are constructed across rivers to store water. So water stored in a dam possesses potential energy. So whatever water is stored in the dam, it has potential energy. I told you any object has energy in it. And that energy we call as potential energy. So when the stored water in the dam is allowed to outflow through crest gates, then potential energy gets converted into kinetic energy. So water stored in the dam, it has potential energy in it. And when this stored water in the dam is allowed to flow out. So when the level of water increases, the dams, they have gates. They are called crest gates. So crest gates, they are used to control the water flow. So when the level of water rises, the gates are open in the dam and the water comes out. You can see in the picture there. So when the gates are open, the water rushes out. It outflows through the crest gates. And that time the potential energy in water is converted into kinetic energy because the water starts moving. It starts flowing. So any object when it is moving, it has kinetic energy. So the water stored in the dam, it has potential energy. When the same water is let to flow out through the gates, then that potential energy is changed into kinetic energy. It gets converted. Potential energy gets converted into kinetic energy. And the total of potential energy and kinetic energy is called mechanical energy. Here's an activity for you children. Complete each sentence with the corresponding word. You must write whether it is potential energy or kinetic energy. Potential energy is the stored energy and is waiting to work, whereas kinetic energy is the energy that is working. That is, any object when it is moving, it has kinetic energy. First sentence, the apple in the table is dash energy. Next one, the apple falling from the table is dash energy. Next one, if the rock falls from the hill, it is dash energy. Next one, if the rock is still, it is dash energy. Next one, if the cyclist is still, it is dash energy. Next one, if he is moving, he has dash energy. Next one, if the yo-yo is still at the top, it is dash energy. Next one, if the yo-yo is moving, it is dash energy. Next one, if the boy throws the ball, it is dash energy. The last one, the ball on the boy's hand is dash energy. So in all these sentences, you must write whether it is potential energy or kinetic energy. So answer all the questions. We will discuss the answers later. The answers for the activity. Let us discuss the answers now. First one, the apple in the table is potential energy. Next one, the apple falling from the table is kinetic energy. Next one, if the rock falls from the hill, it is kinetic energy. Next one, if the rock is still, it is potential energy. Next one, if the cyclist is still, it is potential energy. Next one, if he is moving, he has kinetic energy. Next one, if the yo-yo is still at the top, it is potential energy. Next one, if the yo-yo is moving, it is kinetic energy. Next one, if the boy throws the ball, it is kinetic energy. The last one, the ball on the boy's hand is potential energy. I hope you got all your answers right. Here's an assignment for you children. First main, fill in the blanks. First one, energy is the capacity to do dash. Second one, the main source of all energy on the earth is the dash. Third one, motor vehicles run by dash energy. Fourth one, every work is related with the dash required to do it. Second main, name the following. First one, energy of an object by virtue of its position. Second one, energy of an object due to its motion. Third main, answer the following. Question 1. Name the sources of energy used for daily activities in the environment. Question 2. Name the different forms of energy. Third one. What is mechanical energy? Answer all these questions in your notebook. We will discuss the answers in the next class. Thank you.